Hello there. Today I'm at an estate in the Languedoc in southern France, in Mas de Daumas Gassac. So we're in the Haute Vallée de la Hérault, in fact in the Gassac Valley, and we've been here today trying 27 of the vintages of red wine that's been made here since 1978. I've been very fortunate to join in on this fabulous tasting, which evidently they stage every 10 years to look back at the wines that have been produced and see how they're developing. Now, one wine that stood out for me in this lineup was actually a wine that I don't think has been released yet, the 2022 vintage. This is a wine that is now labelled as an IGP from St Guilhem-le-Désert. Formerly it had been a Vin de Pays. Now, the estate was established here in the early 70s really by Aimé Guibert and his wife Véronique, who'd bought the house here in the late 60s as a home. They were living and working in Montpellier and were looking for a countryside retreat. When they found that the soil types here were suited to growing high quality red wine, they really set about trying to produce a wine that has actually come to be reputed now as the Lafite of the Languedoc. Now, this is a wine that's predominantly Cabernet Sauvignon, 76% Cabernet Sauvignon here, with 5% of Tannat, 4% of Merlot, 3% of Syrah, 3% of Pinot Noir and 2% of Cabernet Franc. The remaining 7% is made up of various other varieties. For instance, they have small amounts of Nebbiolo here. So there's quite a diversity in the blend, but basically the idea is that Cabernet Sauvignon with the other varieties used to soften it and to round it out a little. The estate's approach has always to be as organic as possible and to be as environmentally friendly as possible. For instance, the land here was almost entirely in what we refer to as garrigue, so the low scrub of southern France. And when they started to clear to plant vineyards, one of the things that Véronique Guibert stipulated to her husband was that she didn't want trees being cut down, she didn't want them being cleared. So very much you see today that the vineyards are in plots amongst the trees, and actually they're finding this huge benefit to that because the trees help to protect the vines from desiccation when it's very dry, because the trees will respire a certain amount of moisture. Frequently they'll protect from frosts by diverting the flow of frost around vineyards, and they can also help to influence the direction taken by hailstorms. Increasingly they're learning that the spacing of their vineyards in these areas of forest is highly advantageous. And the other thing is it gives a rich environment. Certainly as I'm standing here today doing these tastings, I can hear through the open window next to me wonderful vibrancy of birdsong. It's lovely to meet producers who feel this is so important. So let's take a look at the wine, shall we? Firstly, it's a deep, dark, almost black ruby, but having said that, it's not opaque. It's one of the things about these wines. I conducted tastings of 27 of them today, and none of them are completely opaque. They don't seem to be overworked. They seem to be balanced and elegant. Swirling it, the wine has 13.5% alcohol. So the alcohol's slightly higher than the older vintages, but not a lot. There is a density to the wine, and it's forming some quite obvious tears on the glass there. Let's see what we make of the aroma, shall we? The aromas are a rich compote of lovely, jammy, dark fruit. In there's raspberries, there's blackberries, there's strawberry notes. Yeah, beautiful, ripe, clean, vibrant fruit aromas, I suppose. Red currant, cassis. Yeah, really quite a vibrant, exciting set of aromas. Nice intensity as well. So let's have a taste. The wine's a midweight. It's got balanced alcohol, fresh acidity. The acidity is giving some lovely lift to that juicy, making the fruit juicy. There's a real sort of blackcurranty, red currant, cranberry sort of freshness to the fruit there. The structure is fine, it's delicate. There is a grip to the tannins, but they're ripe, they're not harsh. And they carry through right the way to the end of the finish, supporting that lovely, juicy red fruit. This is a delightful wine now. I think the fact that it's got such lovely, fresh acidity and such a fine structure and an intensity on the finish. You know, the structure follows right the way through to the finish, so there's a certain amount of weightiness there in the midweight style this wine is. It's not a blockbuster by any means. I think that will, as we've seen with the older wines, give it intensity to age for a period of 30, 40 years probably. It's a very enjoyable wine, its vibrancy now. I suspect it'll possibly close up a little in the next few years and probably be best to come back to 10 years or so down the line when it's started to open up again. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed the tasting. If you have, do please press the like button. If you have friends you think might like to watch, do please feel free to share the video with them. If you'd like to watch more of these videos, it would be fantastic if you'd subscribe to our channel. It would be great to have your support. If you have any comments you want to leave, please pop those in the comments box below. We would love to hear what you think about the wines we're tasting, the tastings we're doing, or anything else related to that. I will, as usual, leave a link to such a web page for this wine so that you can find out where it's available, when it's available, what its pricing is, and more detail relating to it, critic scores as they come through, and any other background information we have on the wine. So thank you so much for joining us, and I do hope you'll manage to find some time and come and join us for another tasting in the near future. Thanks again. Bye for now.